Hello everyone. So this is week 3 of PleinAirpril, and this week I decided to paint some mountains. And this is a very fun week. Honestly, I had a lot of good time just playing around with different textures and whatnot. And right here, this was day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So as you can see, once again, with each day I got better. There was a really good progression happening, a little bit of experimentation here and there as well. And in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how I painted this right here. So just like the previous videos that I've done so far, I like to start off with a simple sketch, just blocking out your shapes for the most part. And you can also squint every now and then to kind of simplify your forms a little bit more. And for this also, I'm using John Park's brush pack. And I'm using texture 7 for this. I feel like there's a lot going on, like there's so much detail, but the main focus is like there's light hitting up here and then up here, a little bit up here. So that's going to be like my main focal point where I'll try to like render the most, and everything around it can just be like soft. And if you think about it, it's just a triangle like that. So, it's not a super complex piece. It's a very strong, language right here. Yeah, and then I guess like this stuff up here could just be something in the foreground maybe, but it's still part of the whole mountain up here. It's not a separate mountain, but we can just mess around with our values and put this part darker and the rest a little bit lighter. But yeah, oh man, there's a lot going on up here. With all the snow up here, you can just use like different lines. It doesn't have to be like exactly like how it's in the real reference image. Sometimes just little indications are more than enough. So you can have like one big chunky piece up here, then like little tiny pieces down here. Similarly up here, I'm just gonna sketch this part out. This is where like my light's gonna hit this whole chunk right here. And notice how like the colors, like this is also the time where I'm also, while I'm sketching, I'm also studying the image, like the colors and everything, like the temperatures. And in the shadows, it's very cool. You got cool colors in the blues and subtle blues and purples. And wherever the light is, the sunlight's hitting, it's like really hot, like it's really warm up there. And that's like the perfect balance. And I purposely chose images that had like this kind of lighting because I felt like I really wanted to like study that kind of lighting a little bit so that I can like use it in my own pieces when it comes time to do those. It's golden hour up here. Man, it's really chaotic up here. Let's see, I've spent around 5 minutes on this sketch, which is alright. Let's go to my background. I'm going to start filling in some colors. See, where is this test right here? I'm also going to put my sketch on multiply so that it blends in with all the colors that I put below it. Let's do a lasso selection. Okay, and I'm just gonna use this color. It's the color of the shadow is very close to the color of the sky, if you think about it. Maybe I should make my sky a little bit lighter. No, I think it works. It's okay. It's not too bad. This isn't very like I do think it's a complex image, but there are not a lot of overlapping elements here. So I might just start off with just painting everything in one layer. And then I'll see where I want to go from there. A little bit of rocks here and there. Just gonna mark it roughly, something like that. I'm just looking at the big shapes for now. And so it really helps like squinting right here. And it's very nice. It's very hot brown up here. So I'm gonna put that up here. Probably like the sun hitting it, causing that kind of effect. And then the hotness of this color graduates to an even brighter tone. Something like this, I think. And the higher it goes, the more lighter it ends up getting. Or actually, in the middle, it gets really yellow. Right now, it's still kind of on the red-orange side for now. Pretty cool. So maybe something like this. I'll just shade all of it for now. Color all of it for now. And notice how, like, whenever I'm painting these, I'm always zoomed out. I don't zoom in a whole lot. Because if you zoom in a whole lot, it's just, you start adding details from during the very early stages, and we don't want that. I should probably even zoom out on my reference image also. Let's zoom out this. There you go. I would recommend doing that also. When you're in Photoshop, you can easily do it. When you're on Pinterest, it's kind of like you have to like zoom out of your entire screen. but it's okay. It is okay. So now next I want to kind of put this shadow up here. Well, it's a little reddish. Yeah, something like that maybe. A little bit here and there. Then this shade right here. So I need this to be a little bit darker. And just still like the very early stages of my painting, just like this is the messy part, I would say. And here I'm just trying to figure out what colors should I be using. So far I've only used one brush for this, so, and it's this one right here. It's the texture brush 5. It's pretty good. And I'll end up using another brush. So I think there's a really good color palette going on up here, so I think I can start rendering some parts of my image. And we are actually 12 minutes in so far. I'm gonna do the foreground first, and then I'm gonna gradually go my way up. So the only other brush that I've used mostly for these studies is the Texture 11 brush. After blocking in, this brush has like a nice graininess to it, which I think is really good to get that grungy effect of like snows on the rocks and whatnot. So I'm just gonna go up here, start throwing in some texture here and there. Like this brush did most of the work for me, if I'm being honest. I'm painting like different directions, and sometimes when I'm blocking my colors, sometimes I'll put them in the wrong area. So this is also an opportunity for me to fix those areas and put things where they're supposed to go. Grab this Texture 9 brush, is pretty good too. Has that kind of effect. It has a nice thing on it, so you can also use this. I want some hard edges. I like this impressionistic look as well, because you don't want to render everything. You just want to indicate where stuff is. Because if you only have an hour to do this, you won't have time to render everything out. So just pick and choose what you want to put. I mean, obviously, when you go with all that texture, then I would advise you to come back with like a chalk brush or something and kind of clean up some of your edges. Define some of the edges up here. That's where the real magic happens. That's where it shows that, okay, this person actually took the time and painted a little bit on top of what he already had. Like texture brushes will get you a lot of detail, but then there are times where you have to do a little bit on top of it also. And just a little bit, doesn't have to be too much. So I just have my brush on multiply, and I'm just gonna paint in some darker tones up here. Grab that. Paint a little bit right here. And I think I'm getting too lost in the details. I should probably move on actually. I should let me just clean this up a little bit. Just kind of define my edges here. I just wanted to read properly. Right now this texture is just overpowering it, and I can't tell where my edges are from my little rock up here. I mean, it's cool to keep it suggestive, but sometimes you want to just like do a little bit on top of it just so that we can see where the edges are at. Like up here, a little bit darker right there. It's better. It's kind of losing that shape up there. That's what happens when you get lost in your details. You just mess up the entire image. Not entire image, but like there are parts where that needed my attention that I didn't really pay attention to. So this right here, I feel like it's too strong. So it goes towards pink a little bit. This looks something like that. There's some like darker reds up here maybe. Like that. We got some more snow. At this point I've turned off my sketch for the most part, and I'm just painting and just going with the flow at this point. And you just want to have fun doing this. It's not like I don't have any pressure. Like there's no pressure on me to make this look good or bad. It's just I'm just doing this because I'm drawing every day, and it's just for fun. I'm not getting paid to do this. No one's standing on my head with a little stick that, hey, paint it this way, hey, paint it that way. It's like I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. It's my painting, my rules. You want to have like a really chill mindset when you're doing this. I'm having a hard time figuring out the color of that shadow up there. Hold on. I think it's something like this. Yeah, like that. feel like I should have spent some more time blocking out more shades. I was like using that chalk brush again just for some little bit of noise. Make it real big. Just do this, you know, just a little. It's quite big, but works good sometimes. My brain's all over the place. Let's try texture 4. Texture 4 is pretty cool too. Got some nice bold strokes. So this is actually week 3, and so this is the 21st painting for the month. So we're almost done. I mean, it's just one more week. Well, 10 more days left. A little over a week left. And I'm so glad I did this because I feel like I've got to learn a lot painting these every day. First of all, like the first thing, I feel like just consistency in general, because many times it's really hard to find consistency when you're drawing and stuff, especially when you're an artist. Sometimes it's hard to just like draw every day, and just kind of showing up only once a day for an hour has just been so rewarding. Like I feel accomplished, and then I can do other things. And right now I'm also in the middle of moving to a new place, so this is all I can do right now. Like I'm not really working on any projects because I just can't. I feel like I won't be able to finish them. So this was like literally the perfect time for me to do something like this instead. It's also why I'm not recording myself. It's just a screen recording because all my stuff is just packed up and it's at the other house now. So now I feel like I'm at the stage where I'm just lost because there's just so much to do up here. So I need to rethink my strategy here. So initially I started at the bottom, but now it's like this whole chunk right here that I need to do. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep pushing. I'm just going to work my way up like I plan to and see where it takes me. And sometimes it's like very easy to get lost when you're working on this. So if that ever happens, just step back a little bit, recollect your thoughts, analyze everything, and then just work your way through it. So we're almost at 30 minutes now, so we only have 30 more minutes left, which is all right. I think it's okay. Now my sketch was pretty shitty. It's not really helping me anymore. It's not that serious. It's not that serious. As far as actually like a little red, I should not be painting this color up here. And let me just mark these areas first, and then I can fix my color later on. Oh, I could totally just do it overlay. So like if I put this color up here, but then if you look at the image, it's more red up here, I can just change my blend mode to overlay, or make a new overlay layer, change it to red. Just experiment, right? So I'm gonna put it on red and use my soft brush, and so it does change the color a little bit, and I feel like that's a good. Let's go back a little bit. Maybe we can do a little more lighter. Oh yeah, that's cool. Something like that. So now what I can do now is go back to my normal mode and just select this color, and that's the color that I need. And you know what? When I changed my brush, the blend mode went back to normal. It wasn't an overlay, but it worked out. So I'm not gonna do anything. We'll just move on. And look at that, I got carried away again, and I went all the way up. And stuff like that's gonna happen when you're painting, and it's fine as long as you're able to backtrack and go back to where you had started. What I need to start doing now is kind of like focusing on the darker areas around this area. So like stuff like this up here where like the cracks and stuff is, I need to focus on that part. And what I'm gonna do is that I'm actually gonna grab my chalk brush again, and I'm just gonna start sketching a little bit to give myself some of those guidelines. One big crack going down this way. Then I can always paint over it, but I feel like right now I need this information so that when I'm painting, I'm not like too lost, And it's just little stuff, right? Just little marks here and there. They go a long way here. And then I feel like it's a little bit more yellow down here. And this is purely from observation, right? And I feel like this is such a helpful exercise because you're literally training yourself how to see color at this point. Like if I wanted to, I could have gone up here and color pick, I could have my image in Photoshop, just color pick it blindly and just paint. But right now, what I'm doing right now is that I'm literally training my eyes to just see what I see pretty much. And it's easier said than done. It's hard, man. It's hard being in that state. And it's hard to, pinpoint the right colors that you need. But this is how you learn. And I've learned so much about color theory in this place also, doing these studies. It's been so rewarding in general. It's like a reward. And so at this point, I'm just going to simultaneously work on this whole piece as a whole. All right, so we roughly have around 10 more minutes left. So what I've actually done so far is I've just added some more details, like, before and after. And then I added a little multiply layer up here, and then I, just a little bit more. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to combine all my layers here. And I'm actually going to soften up some parts of this image. So like up here, I can like, soften this up here a little bit. Just like blend it up with my background. Maybe I can, because I want to like soften parts of my image and then like leave some parts like pretty sharp. And I don't do this a whole lot, but I'm just experimenting with this and seeing what I get. Actually, you know what? Okay, that's fine. Then after softening, you can go back with like a brush and just like paint a little bit back on top of it, just a little bit, nothing too much. Then like I said, it's just a matter of fine-tuning at this point. Nothing crazy that I'm gonna do. I feel like as far as the studies goes, I feel like this is a very successful piece at this point. Like I could totally just stop up here, but I do want to hit the hour mark before I make a decision whether I should stop or not. And at this point, I'm just like using a small, tiny chalk brush and just painting on top of it. Adding subtle changes in hues and saturations here and there. Okay, I think I'll just make 2 layers now. We'll call one multiply. And on this layer up here, I'm just gonna see if there's any opportunity for adding some extra shadows or just darkening parts of it. I'm just gonna grab my soft brush. Be up here, I can darken this a little bit. Darken this part a little bit. So, yeah. quite subtle. And then the other one, I'm going to put that on color dodge and see if I can. Ooh, that's too bright. And color dodge. Paints up that here. Maybe I should make it more saturated. Yeah, color dodge, you gotta be like careful with it. Like, oh, maybe like this. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. So like before and after, just a little bit, a little punch of light, subtle stuff. And with that, we're pretty much done with this, I would think. What time is it? Okay, well, yeah, we're pretty much done, honestly. There was so much going on in this image. It was hard. This was actually like the hardest mountain that I've painted all week, I would say. There was like really like subtle hue variations, subtle hue changes up here. And there's just so much detail everywhere. I had to like really work hard in figuring out where I should put the detail, where I should like skip it. But this was a good exercise though. It was a really fun exercise actually. Just define some more shapes. I think I should stop. Anything more than that, I'm just gonna keep going on this. And just like in the previous one, I'm just gonna merge all my layers again. Control E, hit Control J, make a copy. Go to Filter, Other. Let's do a high pass. Hit OK. That on Overlay, and that'll just like over exaggerate my brush strokes a little bit more. Maybe it's a little too strong, I think. Let's see. Let's like turn it off. This is before and after. It just sharpens everything up a little bit. I think I'll just lower my opacity. Just like a little bit. There you go. But yeah, but that should be it for this painting pretty much. Alright you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate every single one of y'all coming up here watching my videos, and we're almost done. It's only another week left, a little over a week, around 10 more days. And in the next one I'm planning to do like just some buildings, streets, alleys and whatnot. And those are going to be fairly a little bit more complicated because I'm going to have to rely on my perspective a lot. And if I mess up my perspective grid, it's going to mess up my entire painting. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I feel like all of these paintings build up to that one last subject matter that's like the most complicated one, and I'm really excited for that, and I can't wait to show you guys what I have coming up next. And yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.